the responding officers to talk about the behavior of the parents at the hospital. They called one of the nurses, who was the one that just kind of out of nowhere said 12 hours is what they probably think the child had been dead for. As a nurse, she's not qualified to make that opinion, but that was what really started everything. When he was interviewing them, he was really focused on that 12-hour window, even though how the child presented in the hospital wouldn't line up with the death for that long. I mean, the child would be stiff or rigor mortis, very hard. There was a little bit already onset, but not enough to be 12 hours. Like at that point, the body starts breaking down. That sort of bluish skin, the blood bleeding, and the child was white, so that's a little bit more present in a white deceased child or a white person, where that blood is really pulling under the skin. That wasn't there. There was a little bit, but not anything that would line up to 12 hours. And so he really hammered on this investigation, started on a really bad assumption about when this child potentially died, which reflected on or affected how you grilled this mom. I was like, oh, what's this? Oh, we really can't tell that. Oh, so you're saying now in your training experience and knowing all these drugs that you talked about direct, you're not saying that the foil and the blue stuff on the stomach is not fentanyl? Well, it possibly is. Oh, okay. So you can't rule it out. No, I can't. No, it's just, that normal, they're protecting themselves. They don't want to look bad, but it is there. Like a juror's eyes don't lie to them. That's fentanyl. And they timestamp the exact moment, location, exactly who it was. It was kind of hitting them with things that they didn't really fully appreciate because they're operating on a wrong time frame and using that to really undermine their credibility.
And you've kind of covered how you dealt with them in Cross, how essentially the timeline that didn't add up to your client being responsible because she had touched the baby last at 2 a.m.
When I asked the jury about consistency, she was always consistent about when she put the child down, never really woke up in the morning. There was a time she stirred and saw that he was there. And so she knew that he had a morning shift because sometimes he would work, sometimes he wouldn't. And so she kept sleeping. And then she woke up, discovered the baby, and then the father had smoked again and was high, and she had to shake him awake. And so that helped really show that he was really up and down, with the child, then smoking, then down, sort of thing. And so that's how we handled their case.